We're on Capitol Avenue right now. Earlier I was telling you that's the historic district of town. Behind me here you can see the Capitol building. It's all wrapped up for restoration, not because of this storm. And then you'll see these houses here off to my left. There's holes completely missing on the side of these houses, bricks covering the ground. A lot of these houses were actually built in the 1800s. So I'll take you back over this way where you can see more of this damage down Capitol Avenue. You can see there's tons of crews working to clear away debris and trees that have just totally overwhelmed this area. One woman was shot and killed during a bank robbery here in Laverne this morning. The Kasuth County Sheriff says even though the investigation is ongoing, the public is no longer in danger. Judge Joel Yates says he will now take some time to consider everything we've heard in court over the last 2 days and make a decision as soon as possible. Right now, residents were actually able to get back into the building to get some of their belongings that can be salvaged. You can see some of them kind of coming in and out behind me. Aaron, I talked with a Des Moines Latina mother who says this mass shooting is truly devastating. She says she's worried something like this could happen anywhere, even right here in Iowa. I'm live here near Harrah's Casino, where you can see behind me the parking lot and the ticket office, what used to be the ticket office, are now entirely flooded. It even goes all the way under the Harrah's parking garage there. It's the kind of weather where you depend on your car battery the most. Yet it's also the time of year that batteries tend to fail most often. So if your battery is 5 years old or older, tomorrow could be rough. Car batteries are rated under ideal conditions and deliver the maximum power when it's about 80 degrees. At 32 degrees, the amount of power drops by 35%, and at 0 degrees, power can drop by up to 60%. An Iowa family is cleaning up today after a tornado ripped through their property, destroying one of their homes and pulling a tree out of the ground and throwing it onto their other house. Hear what they need and how you can help. Fire officials say this particular building will be uninhabitable for months to come.
Laura, what are residents telling you about the experience, particularly people who have been through this now a second time?
Many of the residents didn't want to comment as this is very traumatizing for them.
Okay, thanks, Laura.
Rivero's trial is scheduled for February 4th in Woodbury County. In Poweshiek County, Laura Barczewski, Channel 13 News. Today I had the chance to talk with Amy Rosales, who's been a member of St. Paul Lutheran Church all of her life. She says when she heard the news of Pastor Alan Henderson's death, she was heartbroken and shocked. Both the Red Cross as well as United Way are heading up the volunteer effort here in Jefferson City. You can see all this commotion still going on behind me. They're not even close to rebuilding, but the community has really come together. And you can also help from right there in Iowa. You can donate as well as even volunteer to help. I'm sure they'll be sending crews from all over the country to come here and help with these efforts.
Without a doubt. Thank you for the latest update, Laura.
And even though this area has caused a lot of headaches for drivers, the good news is the delays and closures won't start up again until next year. The Haskell family has started to pick up the material pieces of their lives after the EF3 tornado ripped through their Lacona home on Tuesday morning.
You know, it may not have been the most expensive, most beautiful, fabulous place, but it was home. It was where we, you know, and it was, I don't even know how the tornado touched some of the things that it did and left other things that a picture might be hanging on a wall, but the whole wall's gone.
Not only did the family lose the home they spent the most time in, the tornado also ripped this tree out of the ground and threw it onto another home on their property.
It's just like a bomb went off. There's debris for a half a mile out from the house, and we've lost a vehicle, lost furniture that was my grandparents' and my father's.
Angela Haskell says the homes are a total loss and they're staying with other family as they clean up and figure out what's next.
There's no salvaging really anything, I don't think, at this point, and just destroyed everything. And we're gonna try to, eventually, it probably won't be this year, but eventually rebuild.
She says there is one thing she's thankful for, that no one was home when the tornado hit.
Our family's alive, we're okay, and that's hope that we've been given that sometimes doesn't happen to everyone.
In Lacona, Laura Barczewski, Channel 13 News.
This is only about 600 pounds, so you know it's not a really big quantity of corn, but it's going to be a very valuable quantity of corn.
Iowa corn, fresh from the field, is carried in buckets one by one to be a key ingredient in Peachtree Brewing's Cornucopia beer.
So we actually put the corn in our mash tun, where it'll sit and mix with hot water, and then there's a screen at the bottom. So once all that sugar is converted, that starch is converted into fermentable sugars, we'll separate all that husk from the barley and send it over to the kettles.
Iowa corn farmer Steve Kuiper says he felt compelled to be a part of this partnership because it showcases the value of Iowa corn.
Because I think it's important to get the word out to the public about products that we produce out of our shelled corn and the value that we create here in Iowa.
Peachtree head brewer Joe Kestelut says they're using more than just the corn kernels to make this unique farmhouse-style beer.
We're also using some stalks in the brew itself. We're actually adding it to the kettle. We're extracting any of the sugars that are left in the stalk itself, and then extracting some unique flavor characteristics in there as well.
Kuiper says even small collaborations are important for business because this year has been tough for Iowa farmers.
We've dealt with the tariff situation and the trade wars with China and Mexico and Canada.
The unsettled weather hasn't helped either.
Whether it was spraying or side dressing or things like that, you know, the weather just hasn't cooperated very well with us.
To Iowa corn, this isn't just about selling a product or making a great beer.
We can show the resiliency not only of our corn, but also of our corn farmer. And that's really our focus. It's all about the farmer, and being able to celebrate a really cool product like Cornucopia beer is a perfect way to cap off a tough year.
In Knoxville, Laura Barczewski, Channel 13 News.
We have Steve King standing by with our Laura Barczewski right now, as a matter of fact, at King's headquarters in Sioux City. Laura?
Yes, we're here at Stony Creek Hotel at Congressman Steve King's watch party. He's joining me right now. So, Congressman King, what have you heard so far about the race?
Well, it's early. We think that they're looking at 11 or 12% that's in. Some come over and say we're up by a fair chunk. Others come out and say not quite. So we just don't know. It's very early and no one can really call a race with only that small percentage in. But I'm also looking at some of the numbers across the state and some of our friends that I think have been doing a great job, like Congressman Blum over in the Northeast and David Young representing Polk County in the Southwest Iowa. Their numbers didn't look that great. And so we shall see. But it's hard to think that Iowans would tell those folks that are doing such a great job that they want somebody else to do that job. So we'll just let and see. Iowans have always been prudent people, and they make reasonable decisions, and we'll just have to watch.
And so what have your supporters been saying here in the room tonight?
Don't worry. I've been talking. They tell me they've been talking to people all over the district, and they're not finding the kind of dissent that would bring about anything other than a victory here tonight.